Traditions. Welcome back to Unlocked. If you've been sharing our stuff, really appreciate you. That's how we grow the channel. I was recently at a leadership meeting and they were talking about traditions, and I just thought I'd let you linger on this just for this week. Some of the most powerful companies, some of the most powerful sports teams or athletes that have ever existed in the history of the world, and you can look this up, it'll be backed up, they always were based on traditions. So when you look at like a college tradition where seniors have to, they make the freshman people go through certain things. I'm not talking specifically about that, but almost like the sense of initiation into something. When you join a big team, you realize there are traditions. When you join the military, and the military is one of the most powerful teams in the world, you realize there are traditions that are respected. And so what does this mean? Is that if you are building a team, you're building a culture, you're building something that you want it to keep going, it is important that tradition starts. And if you don't have one right now, because maybe you're either too new or maybe you don't think you have enough people for it, it's still important to start. Let me explain. Some people say like, I don't have, a reoccurring meeting or reoccurring trip or a tradition going on because I don't have enough people. That would be like the same as me trying to shepherd all these sheep and I only have one, so therefore I don't pay attention to it. It doesn't make sense. I would actually pay attention to that one sheep more if the other ones are not following yet. So the reason I think this is important, looking back at my business, I never did this on purpose. I just think that I realized that, wow, I am assuming trends of big businesses, which I'm super proud of and not even want to take credit for, but we're coming on our fourth or fifth book club trip, and now people are expecting it. It's a tradition. People are starting our program, and they're enrolling in our traditional stuff. They're enrolling into a gift that you receive at promotion. They're enrolling into something, and it becomes a tradition. When you look at Duke or any of the other famous, I remember reading a book called Wooden on Leadership and talking about, he was a coach for UCLA, one of the most powerful, college basketball teams to ever play. They based their traditions to enroll their calendar. What I mean by that is it was almost more important, the trip, the traditional dinner, the barbecue at the coach, it was almost more important than the training, and everything would almost revolve around that. And the reason I think that's so important is because it's almost like a pivot to grow a team at scale. So although your tradition or the things you set in place, they might not seem important to you now because there aren't enough people voicing it, there aren't enough people talking about them yet, there will be a point, a no return point almost, in which that tradition not only will improve, you'll have more money and resources to put towards it, it'll almost be edified and built by other people, not just you. So if you're out there, you're building a team, you're working with people, I ask you, what are the traditions that you have? What are some of the leadership traits that people can tag themselves along with when they join you, when they follow you and your team? And in almost every business, at least any business that I know of, any sport, any powerful team, there's always the hard hat. Fantastic book by John Gordon. You go and read The Hard Hat. There's a kid that died. I'll kind of get you into the book, even though you might want to read it now, but you should still read it. The Hard Hat talks about the story of a kid that I think it was 18, 19, or 20 years old playing lacrosse, died, but he was such a powerful leader and captain for the team that 10, 11 years after his death, a 20-year-old kid, 10, 11 years after his death, people continued to attend his funeral because the team made it a tradition to follow his figure. And so when you see now everybody going crazy with, of course, Charlie Kirk and everything that he was talking about and everything he meant, I promise you there will be instilled traditions that will be a part of this country on the conservative side, on the Republican side, because they're not going to want to let that flame die. And although we can't see it yet, this is 2025, I would put a big bet on 2030 there will still be some sort of tradition that was anchored on Charlie Kirk's assassination that will continue to echo throughout the years. And that's how powerful teams are built. That's how big followings are built. That's how teams really start, is not ever planned sometimes. I'm going to have a tradition that's going to go on for 10 years. People just do things and then they become a part of the calendar. So I encourage you to find something like that for your team and get it going because it's never too early to start.